Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Mental Debrief, a podcast presented by Tonique Media. My name is Emma Wright, and I will be your host today. Hosting alongside me is Tonique's very own Cade Guerrero. Hi, Cade.
Hey, Emma. How's it going?
It's good. Things are good here in Costa Rica. A little rainy today and has been for a few days, but life is pretty good down here. How about you?
It's going pretty good. It's not as rainy here, but we have had like a couple of rainy days, so that's good because we live out in the desert. So
yeah.
Does
everyone lose their shit when it rains then?
Yeah, I mean everybody's really pumped when it does. I mean, it comes we have like a thing called El Nino where it like rains for like the whole month. I think It's like monsoon season, but yeah, I mean, people get pumped. It's a good time because it's not like cold. It's like really hot rain, angry rain.
Cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never really enjoyed the rain very much. I think I always thought it was annoying, but here I don't mind walking through it because it is so warm. It just like is the same temperature as everything else. So also just because it's humid, I'm damp all of the time anyway. So it's like not that much of a change.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's on the docket for today?
The docket today is coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms for a variety of things we might go through with our mental health or changes in our life, and also how we adapt to our coping mechanisms over time, and vice versa, how our coping mechanisms adapt to our growth as individuals.
Oh, okay. We totally gonna talk about that. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this today. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this it kind of sparked in my mind because I was reading around about how coping mechanisms can change over time, because as you begin to heal from a traumatic event, or maybe you're working through anxiety, depression, whatnot, obviously those things ebb and flow, but as you work through your healing, coping mechanisms that you used at the beginning of your healing actually may not work as well for you as you go down the road. And it can be kind of tricky for people to navigate those waters because you have this oh shit moment, like none of the tools in my toolbox are working. What's wrong with me? What can I do next? All these things. I know I've experienced this personally. So to read this was really, it was great for me to be able to reflect on that and go, oh my God, that's a real thing. And it's a sign that I'm healing. But no one really told me that in the beginning. So I wanted to open that discussion, talk about what maybe our mechanisms have been in the past and how they've evolved over time. Because mine have absolutely evolved over time. It's not even like I'm the same person anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the exact same boat as you, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like it definitely took a transition from, let's say in my teen years to now.
Mm-hmm. And was it trippy for you, or unsettling when you started to notice that those older coping mechanisms weren't being as effective or working the same way anymore?
I don't know. I guess it wasn't really trippy. It was more of a relief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I guess we'll just jump right into it. So coping mechanisms, right? Helps us through these slumps and gets us out of these very bad mindsets. And I think my coping mechanism at the beginning, when you started feeling these very strong emotions, was to have people around you, having people that kind of coddle you and be like, everything's okay. Telling me you're not a bad person, stuff like that, right? That's what I really needed. But eventually, over time, I've realized the best coping mechanism for me is to not necessarily isolate myself, but to gain some solitude and reflect instead of having people around me and evaluate everything around. And I do this without actually knowing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I figured that out. I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Because having to have people around you and coddle you, To me, that sounds exhausting now. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't believe you needed that at some point, because it's so foreign
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah, so yours kind of shifted from this external validation to more of an internal validation then.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, we're still saving this subject for next time, but like we always bring it up every episode, being your best friend. That's
Yeah.
how like
Yeah.
that's how I shifted it, like mentally.
Hmm. Love that. Love that
Mhm.
because you kind of maybe learned from the people around you who were giving you that external validation, the types of phrases you needed to hear, and then you can use those on yourself for yourself, which sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What
Mine,
about you?
so I definitely went through that period of like, oh fuck, things aren't working anymore. I must be broken. It was kind of my narrative because I think that my coping mechanisms used to be a little bit more I think they used to lean more toward escape, more than I probably needed, or well, needed is maybe the wrong word because I clearly needed to do something at that point in time, right? And then I'm talking like late teens, really early 20s. Um, and it was always something productive. Like I had to go do something productive in order to feel that type of validation, to feel secure. I had to go cook something. I had to go to a yoga class. I had to go out somewhere and see somebody and kind of get that stimulation from outside in order to feel like a person. I think I did a lot of that. Like I wanted to feel normal really badly. And so I would go and do things that I thought normal people would do. And in this recovery process, this was when I was recovering from a severe illness. I was kind of coming out of the mental slump that was associated with that. And so it was a lot of going out and doing things. But in that process, I wasn't very present in my body. So flash forward a couple years down the road, and I'm referring to maybe this past year of my life, I had another mental health crisis that we've talked about before. And those things weren't working for me anymore. COVID also played a factor because I couldn't really go out and do things this time last year. But also, even when I would get myself into the backyard, like do something with my roommate, quarantine together, like it wasn't hitting the same way. And it was actually making me feel worse about myself. Like it could, because I felt like it wasn't, quote unquote, wasn't working anymore. And then I had this, oh God, like what's wrong with me kind of thing. And since then, I just had to relearn how to comfort myself, how to cope with negative thoughts. And the practices that I've adopted that I use currently are far more centered in my body. It's journaling, it's dancing around. Like I feel like I have dance parties for myself sometimes, and it like really does something for me, which is great. Making a really strong cup of coffee, that type of, I've talked about this in my article about dissociating, having something really, really strong sensory experience to help ground myself. And these coping mechanisms are a lot more still and involves a lot more resting and being okay with that rest. And that was a learning curve for me. That was a huge learning curve. I appreciate it now, but there's definitely a lag period where I felt really, really unstable and really unsure of where to go next.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It was.
I feel like I can definitely use that the really strong cup of coffee as a coping mechanism too. I used to drink tea a lot. Like, and that's one of the things I've talked about, but yeah, I used to drink a lot of tea. Like if I was feeling a little bit down, and if it was like in the evening, I would drink like some tea and look at like a sunset. Very powerful. The two combined, for some odd reason, just puts me in a different mindset, a positive one.
Love that.
I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know why, but I just do because we got beautiful sunsets.
Yeah. You were talking about that.
Yeah, take some time to really appreciate, the sun going down over the mesa. Yeah.
I feel like those kind of. Oh, sorry. Go forward.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like those kind of symbolic gestures that we can appreciate, like sitting down to take time to look at a sunset. The sun is setting. The day is ending. There's another one coming, and the sun sets every single day. So there's a comfort in that, and the sun rises every single day. There's a comfort in that as well. And it seems like, from what I'm hearing, being present in that kind of atmosphere and just watching that is really good.
It's like, you know, that tomorrow's a new day, or there's gonna be a next day, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Closing down, new beginnings. And
Yeah.
tea, that sounds like, I think I'm gonna have to adopt that practice. That sounds really great. Sit and drink tea and watch the sunset.
It was very zen. And then another coping mechanism too. Here's a little weird, a bit of a weird one. I was bartending in a nightclub, right? We didn't shut down until 2. I didn't go home until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I was in college at the time too, so I had to go to class for, the rest of the day. So I mean, working at a nightclub, it's loud, it's a grind, it's very like you turn off your mind and you're just a robot doing these functions. You're like a drink making robot. Like, you're just doing all these functions, making all these cocktails.
Yeah.
So after every night, I was so wired, because I'd probably, like, in between from 9 to 2 while I was there, I would have like 4 Red Bulls, because that's had to. And I've never been kind of an energy drink person, but I could never make coffee because we never had coffee there. So I was like, all right, I have to drink a Red Bull, because if I'm going to get through this, like, I have to. I've never been the one to drink Red Bulls. So it was very, like, it affected me a lot different. So I would get home and I would just take a bath, listen to jazz, read some of my literature that I had, and I would do that on a consistent basis. So I would take a bath before work and I would take a bath after work. Yeah, so it was like the calm before the storm, and then the ending of it all. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's how I had to keep myself, like, I don't know, I'm going like nuts. It was crazy.
I'm taking notes on this because these all sound like fucking fantastic practices. I'm going to start taking a bath before and after work.
Yeah, I'm a huge bath advocate.
Oh, me too.
Like, or just anybody about my bath, like how many baths I take in a day. I take baths all the time.
Okay, we are.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we are
great.
very similar in that, because I take baths all of the time. It is crucially important to me. Maybe not every day, but in the wintertime in particular, it's like I'll just pour like a short bath and sit there for like 20 minutes. It's my reset. I have this one album that's kind of like bossa nova type sounds that I put on. Oh yeah, it's so good. So good. And it's like total refresh. I used to have in an old apartment of mine when I first moved to Boise, it was like student housing, but it wasn't on campus, one of those kind of shitty old apartments. But the way my bathroom was set up, it happened to be private, which was great. I could plug in my Himalayan salt lamp, the pretty pink glow lamps.
Yeah.
I could plug one in and put it like on the edge of my bathtub or like right next to it or something. And so it was like the most beautiful glow. I would pour a bath and listen to music, and it was like I was a different person at the end. It was as good as a deep meditation for 20 minutes, So yeah, man, I'm missing a bath right about now. Miss hot showers. I've been taking rainwater showers for the past month.
That's pretty cool though. Like, a lot of people can't say rainwater showers. Like, rainwater, like you're literally outside just taking a shower.
Yeah, so we have it's like I guess it's like a compost shower. So we collect rainwater. Like, this in my mug is rainwater that I'm drinking. It's better than the city water. It's really pure. And so because this is a permaculture farm, part of that is catching and storing energy or rainwater for usage, food, things like that. So all of our roof systems have these collection pools. And we use it for the compost shower, which we just like have a shower head that attaches, you turn it on, and it's like you're facing the jungle. It's really, really beautiful. And then we have another rainwater tap in our kitchen that we use for drinking water, dishes, things like that.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Reducing your carbon footprint,
Yes, yeah. I'm learning a lot around here for that. But I digress. That's
Okay, so I think even then, like just saying that it's really cool rainwater shower. That sounds badass, but I can get where you can miss a good hot shower. I haven't
Yeah.
taken a bath in like the longest time. I really need.
Maybe you need a bath today. Maybe this is your sign.
Hmm.
Little
Yeah.
reset.
Hmm. You know what? While we're on this, so I've been fasting again, and
Mm,
so I don't know if this has been helping me mentally, but when I fast, usually I gain a lot of mental clarity. Uh, second day, honestly, I was about to rip someone's head off. I was so
mm,
angry, like I was just so grumpy. But yeah, it's definitely helped. Like the first day was great. The second day I was pissed, and now the third day I feel so much better. It's like I finally
mm,
adjusted. So when I fast, it's usually you just feel cleaner, you feel pure because
mhm,
you're not like eating terribly anymore, and you're only eating for a certain amount of time. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, in terms of thinking wise, I'm less foggy. So
Hmm.
I feel I can get a better grasp on my emotions. Except for the second day, I was pissed.
There's an adjustment period for those things for sure.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But
So in a sense that's kind of like maybe not a coping strategy because you're not necessarily using it to directly counteract an emotion, but it helps you kind of prolong good emotions or be more grounded in your thoughts.
yeah, because I think a lot of the time, and this is another topic of conversation for our next episode, but like with diet and health, mental health,
Mm-hmm.
I think majority of the time, I'm a big like if I get really depressed or down, like I'm gonna be eating my feel, like
Oh
ice
yeah.
cream, pizza, whatever. I'm like I'm like what? I'm super sad today. I had a rough day. I'm gonna go to Chipotle, just load up a burrito or something. But yeah, during this time, it kind of gives you that I guess mental upper hand. So even if you had a rough day and you stuck with your fast, you know that you still felt very sure. Like, what's the best way to put this? I'm having a hard time. It's like, even though you had a bad day and you still fasted and you ate healthy and stuff like that, you know for a fact that that day didn't beat you down too bad. Like you still got the upper hand on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. You still have like that control sense, I guess, and there's still something that you can do to
Yeah,
impact your life. Mm-hmm.
exactly.
I like
So
that. I think that.
it's it's rewarding in its own way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I
Mhm.
think that something that I've definitely been learning over the past month or so, and this is more of a force thing, like I'm living in community right now on this farm, and the community is small. There's only 3 of us volunteers that live here on the farm, and then there's a woman that runs it, and she comes, every day, and she's here from like 10 in the morning until like 10 at night, probably.
Mhm.
This is totally her space. She just lives on a slightly different part of the farm, but everybody's really interwoven, really interconnected. We have our meals together, like lunch and dinner and stuff, and all of our projects are kind of conjoined. We always joke that there's like so many different things to do throughout the day. You might plan out to do 3 of them and you get 5 things done, but they're not the same things that you wanted to do in the first place, because there's so
Mhm.
much that needs taken care of all the time. But on an emotional level, it's a lot harder to like cope with things on my own. I kind of have had to adjust to this lifestyle where I'm working through my emotions and still in a group setting and getting comfortable with that. um, and it is different than like the life that I'm going to go back to at home when I do leave this place. But it's been a really good lesson in grounding myself, getting in tune with how I feel, and then working through it kind of on a whim. I definitely tend toward the escape thing where if I'm feeling unsettled or something like that, I kind of withdraw and I just go in my space. I'm just at home. I go sit in my backyard. I'm alone, right?
Mhm.
There's not really an alone sense here. I have this is space that you see behind me is my living space, but it's still kind of around a lot of other people and we all sense each other's emotions.
Mhm.
Been a really good practice for me to get comfortable with that. I don't know if I have any strong like advice or how I got to this point. it's more just been an interesting reflection of myself. And I feel like I'm developing this whole new skill set to be able to work through something in real time and not necessarily feel shame about it or, like I'm being a burden to people. I'm learning that people are just people. I have to remind myself of that sometimes because I can be very self-critical. We all can,
Yeah, I got you. Totally.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. This lag is, it's always a thing. Apologies. But yeah, I think that the way that these mechanisms shift, like it's very reflective of and a kind of metaphorical to just how life is in general. Things ebb and flow. The way that you cope with things is going to ebb and flow too, and it's not necessarily. I think what I've been trying to practice is avoiding these good and bad labels. Like just because my yoga practice that I used when I was 20 doesn't work anymore when I'm 25 doesn't mean that that's bad. It just means it's different. It just means I've gone through different things and I need different things now.
Yeah, get that too. And I think the same thing for me. It's like in the past, seemed like the best coping mechanism at the time was to get people to verify that I'm okay and stuff like that. But now it's just like a lot of self-checking and, this mental checklist of like, all right, kid, here we go. Like, we're feeling good about this, that, maybe we can improve on that. Just having a real good talk with myself instead of talking to other people that may not know exactly what you're going through. So having to go down your own psyche is, it's been cool just been able to transition into that and pivot.
Yeah, for sure. That is cool because once you're able to have those healthy conversations with yourself, then like you're your greatest asset. You are your own home.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's due time we have an episode on that. Maybe next week we hone in on that, being your own best friend, strategies for that, etc.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Yeah, I think that should wrap it up right there, right?
I think that's a great wrap. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. Well, hey, in the meantime, you know what to do in terms of a lot of Tonique stuff. Subscribe to the newsletter, YouTube, all the social medias. Check out Soul 48, see what they got going on. I know I got a candle. I should have brought it in here with me, but next episode. Anyway, yeah, Emma and I will be back for next week episode, which is going to be on being your best friend, right?
Being your own best friend. Love it. Let's do it.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Emma. I will see you next week.
Thanks. See you next week. Bye.
Peace.